Hi, my name is Thomas Gottfried. More than 20 years ago, together with my wife, I founded the Vivasan company, a small firm. We started making products in Switzerland, we started creating distribution channels, and over those 20 years, our company has been developing all the time. Many people joined us. We have fantastic people working with us, leaders and consultants. All that has been put together over those 20 plus years. Thus, from the initial idea to develop products and sales structures in Switzerland, we came to be a company that is well known to many people now. Our system of work is direct sales, which means that we work directly with the people who are our clients. Such a system has both its advantages and disadvantages, and I decided to make this video for a very simple reason. The point is that many people have a wrong idea of what direct sales are. Also, many people misunderstand how you can be successful in this business and what the system of direct sales is all about. We should not forget that everything is changing very fast in this world every day, which means that if the life of our grandparents and parents was more or less stable, we, and especially our kids, are facing more and more of new tasks every day. Every day we are forced to look for new opportunities to get the living standards we would like to have. Who knows, perhaps Vivasan may turn out to be one of those opportunities. How do I see my goal now, what my intuition is telling me? I will make several videos where in very simple terms I will tell you what the business of Vivasan is all about, what is important in Vivasan business, what should be given a special attention, because from my 20 plus years of experience, this is what I can tell you. I've seen very many people who have been successful, and I'm happy that they could do it, but I've also seen many people who have failed, and that's what I'm going to share with you, the experience that I accumulated, the experience of other people, something that is important in our business and without which our business is just impossible. With the help of those videos, I would like to familiarize you with a world that most people misunderstand at first, and that is why they come to wrong conclusions. So let's start from the very beginning. Let's start with the cornerstone, with the very foundation of the system of direct sales. It's a perfect introduction for the newbies, for those who come to the direct sales for the first time, because it gives you a chance to immediately understand whether it's your cup of tea or that you don't like it at all. Why does the system of direct sales exist at all? Look, if someone wants to sell some products on the market, there are exactly two ways to do that. The first one is a classical way, and the second one is the system of direct sales. For starters, it's important to see the difference between the two. Both ways are okay, they do not compete with each other. You will see it for yourself which one suits you better. Look at the classical way. First, you should invest in production. That is logical. Products should be developed and manufactured. Then you need exporting and importing companies. You need local distribution companies, and certainly you need stores and trading partners who will put those products on the shelves. And from the shelves, the products will go to the customers. And as you can see on the slides, at each of those stages, certain costs are added, because everyone has to get some remuneration for his efforts and be profitable. And on top of that scheme, all that chain, you need advertising. Because in the absence of advertising, nothing will fly at all. And if a person doesn't know the product, he'll never buy it. That's clear for everybody. Such is the classical system. It does work, no questions about that. The direct sales system looks a little different. You have to invest in production too. You certainly can't do without it. You have to invest in product development as well. You have to invest in an importing company. And you'll also have to invest in creating a distribution company. But first of all, as you can see on this slide, here we have fewer intermediate stages, which means that you can offer high-quality products at a reasonable price. And the second difference is that the distribution company is our clients, our consultants and our leaders. This means that we consult the clients, we train consultants, we train leaders, we help the leaders to develop. And it goes without saying that you should invest money, you should work on it, you should take efforts, but this is our advertising, and this advertising is very efficient since people are telling one another about the products and how they can be used. They exchange that information. This is kind of advertising is efficient and is much cheaper than in the classical sales scheme. And perhaps some people are already thinking, okay, this could be interesting for me because within the Vivasan system, one can become an independent entrepreneur. And as an independent entrepreneur, one can build one's own sales structure. I'll be telling you about all that step by step. You should just sit back, listen, and try to get a general picture of what I'm gonna say and explain. If you want to start working in direct sales, the first question that arises is, this direct sales thing, what is all about? What is MLM? You'll ask yourself, is it a good thing for me or not? What does other people's experience in this sphere say? Whether it's a thing for you or not, this I cannot say. The first thing you should do is to open your browser, Yandex or Google, whatever, and type MLM or direct sales in the search line. You'll find both positive and negative reactions. You'll see both good and bad stories of other people's experience. That is a very normal thing for this business as for any other one. There are certain reasons why people gain success as well as reasons why people fail. And many people who fail and are not successful find reasons behind their failure in external factors, blaming the system itself. They are not trying to find faults within themselves. This is the first problem, but we'll talk in more detail about that, and I will tell you a lot from my own experience. So if you are telling yourself, okay, I want to try myself in direct sales, I want to do that, or at least I want to get some more information about that, then the first question is how much money one can make from those direct sales. To answer that question, there is certainly the Vivasan marketing plan. This is the foundation of our business. For everything you do in Vivasan, you get a certain remuneration. There are objectives for turnover, there are other objectives, and for meeting those objectives, you get remuneration. This is Vivasan marketing plan. This is something based on which all people build their business. You can download the Vivasan marketing plan from our website and get familiar with it. There you will see both the objectives and corresponding remuneration. But I would like to explain it to you in a slightly different way. The point is that the Vivasan marketing plan does say how much you'll get, having made certain specific objectives, but to reach them, to be able to cope with that, you must know what to do and what kind of internal psychological attitude you should have. You should know what's to be done, what actions are to be taken, and what skills are to be at your disposal. And that is why first I'd like to tell you about the possibilities of getting money in Vivasan in a little different way, based on this revenue pyramid you see now. Look, everyone starting business in Vivasan finds himself at a hobby stage. He gets registered with Vivasan. Let's hope he has a good sponsor who gets him familiar with the business, shows him the first products, that is, teaches him how to take first steps in our business. It should be done by a sponsor. Bad sponsors are always a problem. There's a lot of them, I know, but I'll show you a lot of what could be done in case you don't have a good sponsor or have no sponsor at all, which will allow you to be a success despite all that. The hobby stage is always a rather interesting stage. People think that to begin is a very simple thing. You have to begin. That is, if I want to build a business, if I want to build my own sales structure, then I have to start. This is the first starting point. Many people dream of reaching the summit, but never even start. That is the problem of the hobby stage. To start means gathering information. It means that you have to invest in the firm. What we require at Vivasan is a very small thing to buy 5 products. That's all you need to invest, because the literature is available on the internet, at our internet store, on our business website, and it is free. Or this video you're watching now, it is also free. The only thing you're spending your money on is the 5 products. Is it a big investment? No. But believe me, no matter how big the initial investment is, many people are just afraid to start, are afraid to start something new. Whereas it doesn't matter how much they have invested, 100,000 francs or 5 products, many people are just scared to start. If you manage to get to the hobby stage, if you have learned a little something and are taking small efforts, you can expect making about 900 francs per year. Certainly, it's not a big deal. It's not a bonanza. And there are people who want to reach a little bit more and want to upgrade their professionalism. Those are the so-called amateurs. This is the next stage of the revenue pyramid. Who is the amateur? A person on the hobby level doesn't know whether he has strengths and weaknesses. He's just doing something. And perhaps something will somehow turn well. However, the amateur should work on his weaknesses. Do people have weaknesses? Sure. When you just start working in our business, you still have little information. You don't understand the products. Your public speech techniques are poor or underdeveloped. You don't know how to talk to people. You don't have the skills needed to be a success in our business. You have not learned all that yet. Similarly, many people think that while making money, they don't have to pay taxes. Such a viewpoint is another weakness because all taxes should be paid on any revenues, and people are either uninformed or unwilling to file tax returns. However, those are fundamental things that are necessary in any case, whether you're in direct sales or classical business. Those are the foundations the person must know just to have a chance to get to a higher level. Most people on the amateur stage have problems with self-organization and self-motivation. Working with such people, certainly not with all, but with many of them, one can see that this is a bunch of people where a lot are unhappy because what they're striving for never happens. They're still unwilling to take responsibility for what they're doing. They haven't yet learned it. They haven't learned to keep promises, to help other people, to be punctual, to be well dressed, because they are in business now. Those are the things that many of the amateurs have not understood yet. And those are the weaknesses I've been talking about. Everyone passes through this amateur stage. Some do it quickly, others need more time. But to pass through this amateur stage is a must. Having risen to that stage and with support from your sponsor or your leader, you reach a level of about 3,000 francs per year. This is no bonanza either. The next stage is a pro. On that level, a person is already capable of doing something. He is in the business. He has already worked on his weaknesses. He already knows a thing or two about social networks. He already has his own small profiles there. He knows what a Viva party is, what a Vivasan business internet store is. He knows a lot. He knows the importance of building business groups. He is knowledgeable about a lot of things. He works day and night. He's talking to his clients and consulting them. He is constantly trying to find new clients, new business partners, to register people, to bring them into his structure. He has established professional training system. He has a feedback system. This person has already achieved something and hence can make more money. To make it clearer for you, I'd like to repeat. On the hobby stage, a person doesn't know still if he wants to do it or not. He just starts doing something. On the amateur level, a person must work on his weaknesses, and a pro must work on his strengths to develop them so that those strengths would allow him to build a working system. However, there are limits to growth. On the hobby level, the limit to growth is I don't start. On the amateur level, I already know everything. This is very typical for the amateur level when people have learned something, have gained the first small success, and now they already know everything. They stop taking in recommendations and don't want to hear anything. A person on the pro level has already gone through all that. He has developed his strength, but he also has his growth limit when he thinks that it's impossible to reach more. You can always reach more, and this is the expert stage. And once again, the expert must think in a slightly different way. He has the strength which he continues to develop, and he should delegate those strengths. This is very important. What does it mean? The expert knows that he will be able to make money and work more professionally only if he registers a lot of pros and amateurs within his structures. Don't forget that previously all of them used to be on the hobby level. That is, the more people I register within my structure and the more people from my structure I help to grow and develop, the more money I will make getting to the expert level. Whereas the entrepreneur, and that is the next level, faces a different problem. The entrepreneur asks himself the following question: does everything always depend only on me? Can I find some way, some system that would take a part of the load off my shoulders so that everything would not always depend only on me? And that is a very positive question. Most people are unable to do that. Why? Because everybody has a certain boundary to his ego. People on the entrepreneur level have already reached a lot. They are known on the market. They are authors of books. They have popular profiles on social media. People know them. When entrepreneurs and experts come to seminars and make presentations, people listen to them. They have charisma and they have achieved a lot, which means that the entrepreneur has trained a lot of experts within his structure, or rather helped them to reach this level or a pro level. And now the entrepreneur is asking a question: will I always be the key and indispensable element for my structure? How can I put together a scalable system, a system that would make money on its own? And this is a very important question. For a person on the amateur level, this may be not important, but in the process of further development, when a person has already risen to the very top, this question should be taken into account. There is a boundary to one's ego. What does it mean? To step aside and let other people come to the center stage. This is very important. It means I give other people a chance to come to the center stage. It means I help other people to be a success, making them brilliant professionals in their business. At the same time, I go on working with other people, those who still need my help. That was, generally speaking, the structure of possible revenues in the Vivasan company. And the last level is certainly the company itself. Here you already have a very big turnover and can make a lot of money. This is a system that you have created and that is making money on its own without you having to take any serious efforts. But here you should be careful, and we'll be telling you about that in my videos. In our business, there is such an opinion: I'll work first and then I'll resign and go to some Ireland to have a good time, and my structure or somebody else will go on working for me. I'll be telling you more than once that no business works that way, and your business doesn't work that way either. However, you'll be able to dedicate yourself to some other activity and won't have to spend your time on the day-to-day management of your business. You will largely tackle strategic goals and not to do the day-to-day management. That's what I mean here. How one can rise to the very top from the very bottom? Is there a recipe? Certainly there is one. Will everybody follow that recipe? Will everybody study the system I will describe in my videos and will follow it? This I don't know. It depends on you. It's your decision to make. Most people who have been familiarized with this approach have some problem. They say, but I don't have so many friends and acquaintances. I don't like to motivate people or to work with people. I live in a small town or in a small country, and a lot of things like that. Dear viewers, this is what I can tell you. There is a system to everything. There is a solution to every problem. It only depends on you whether you will use that solution and will work. Work on your own self, because the problem with our business lies not in the product. The problem lies not in the distribution channels or the payment system or the literature or the internet store. All those problems have already been solved. They are being improved all the time. Everything is already working. You don't have to create everything from scratch. You only have to use it. The problem lies in your personal development, because if you are moving upwards step by step, then you must know that you have to grow. You should change your approach to certain things, and pretty often you have to decide which approaches should be changed and which not. To think, in which respect I should change my way of thinking. That's what you have to do when you move to the summit step by step. So that was a short description of what revenue possibilities the Vivasan company company can offer. For all the newbies, I will repeat it once again. Relax, listen to it one another time, try to develop your own opinion, try to get information. If something may seem unclear, it's not a problem. In the next videos, I'll explain step by step all that may not be fully clear today. In this video, I want to give you just a general outline. Over my almost 25 years in this business, I have formulated those 10 rules that are extremely important for this business and are the first thing to get familiar with before you start. First, it is worth thinking whether you are ready to follow those 10 rules and to abide by them. As I've already said, don't forget that success in this business doesn't depend on external factors. It is a result of how you yourself think and what you do. In other words, both success and failure start only in your head and nowhere else. And that is the reason for the 10 rules. You have a chance to figure out in advance, will you be able to follow them at all if this business is actually good for you? Rule 1. Take a decision. This is also true for life in general. For about 80% of all people, taking a decision is always a problem. If you want to change your life, you should take a decision about whether you want to do something or not. Then you have to take a decision to that effect. Some people constantly use all kinds of excuses. I'll start tomorrow. I'll start in September when the kids are back to school, or I'll start when the kids finish school. All those are nothing else but helpless excuses for one's own self not to take a decision. I'm not pushing you towards any decision. You must know it yourself if you're happy with all the circumstances of your life, or you want something more, to try something else, to take your life to a different direction. That's something you should know yourself. It is important that to do that you should take a decision, that you should have enough energy to take this decision, and generally speaking how decisions are taken. This is a very important issue, and the next rule is about that. Set the goals and put yourself in a situation of external pressure. Well, I've taken a decision to do something. Now I have to set a goal for myself. People often see it wrong. People always dream when setting goals. I've been conducting workshops for almost 25 years, and all the times the favorite exercise for the participants is goal setting. What do I want to accomplish in my life? And that's where they start dreaming, and eventually the majority come up with some goals, as a rule from the realm of sci-fi. And it's impossible to translate those fancy ideas into reality, and that is why people take no actions. They don't make a plan and they don't act. And then some 5 or 6 years later, they come back to my workshop while nothing has changed in their lives and their positions. How one should set goals. Let's imagine a situation. A guy has been smoking 20 cigarettes a day for many years. Then he reads something, listens to the doctors, and comes to a conclusion that constant smoking poses a threat for himself and for his family, which means it's time to quit. Good. Now I'll smoke the last cig and no smoking tomorrow. He set a goal for himself which never will be achieved with a 90% probability, because there is nothing behind that goal. He hasn't got the information on how to quit smoking. He hasn't got a plan how to do it. He just says, starting from tomorrow I'll smoke no longer. That's why it's so hard for many people to quit smoking or any other bad habits. It's hard for them to towards a goal. That's why a goal means having a clear idea of what I want. It means that I know it definitely and unequivocally. I should come up with a clear idea of what I want to do. And the next step is to write it down. I should put together a plan in advance. I should consider my actions, what I have to do to reach my goal, and start doing it immediately, not tomorrow or the day after or 2 weeks later. You should start immediately, and you should monitor your results, since if you don't monitor your results, you'll never reach your goal, because you won't know whether you are moving towards the goal or not. So the results should be monitored, and if problems arise, you should solve them. You should gather information. What have I done wrong? Ask people, what have I done wrong? And then you should try another approach. And the third step, a very important one, if you have a goal, if you have a plan and you follow this plan, Tell other people about that. Put yourself in a position of external pressure by doing so, because you have to do it so that your intention would not turn out an empty promise, which means you'll have to do something about that. Rule 3, create the necessary environment for yourself. What do I mean here? I think that in your life there were often cases when you set a goal or took a decision and the people around you didn't like it at all. You know, there are always people who don't like what other people do. Those are the people unwilling to change anything in them, unwilling to dare try something new. Those are the people who lack courage. We all have such people around us. You can't call them bad people. They're just incapable of such kind of change. And you should keep your distance away from such people and find those who would support you, because does it really make sense to set new goals, to try to open new paths, no matter what goals and what sphere, if you have negative-minded people around you who are permanently dragging you behind with their negative remarks? This is extremely important for our business. If you want to be a success, and we'll look into all that, you'll have to master a lot of skills and you will have to survive a lot of defeats. You can't escape that. And that is true for any other business. That is why you should have a proper environment of people who would help you, who have gone through all the ordeals that you still are to go through, or at least positive-minded people who support you, who help you, who are on your side. Not every day everything is okay. Not every day the sun is shining. Not every day is beautiful. And we know that. In other words, those are the people who help you not to give up on yourself and to carry on when you are overwhelmed with doubt. Create a proper environment for yourself. It's very important. Get a little better every day. I've already been speaking about skills, about information. I've been saying that one should do certain things to be successful in our business. It means that every day you should get a little better. How it could be done? For starters, by learning new skills and practicing them. To learn something and not to do it later is just a waste of time. Don't do it. If you watch 2 or 3 videos and say, it's all clear for me and it's logical, and then you don't use this knowledge in practice, it will be just a waste of time. And in this case, you shouldn't watch these videos at all. Having learned something, having received some information, you should be able to apply it in practice. The practical application gives you confidence because your first practical experience in how to talk to people, how to motivate them, which words should be used, all that is very important. Practical application of skills and knowledge is a must. The more often you do it, the faster your intuition and self-confidence are developing. And during the next conversation, at the next workshop, or at the next meeting, you'll be doing a great job. Work will get easier for you because you have learned how to work. So get a little better every day. Develop your imagination. This also has something to do with goals. Our brain is doing what we are telling it to do, what we imagine. We imagine certain pictures and the brain is trying to somehow translate them into reality. It works both with positive and negative ideas. What our brain doesn't do is give us a request concert. It doesn't fulfill our requests, as it is the case at request concerts. This means that based on all what you imagine, actions should be born. A small and simple example. If you imagine that you would like to have a villa by the sea near a beautiful beach with a posh picture and luxury cars, etc., this is a beautiful picture in your imagination. It's a dream. And many people have dreams. Someone wants a green car, another one a red car, a sports car, or any other kind of car, doesn't matter. Those are dreams, and dreams as a rule remain dreams. What do I mean by imagination? You have a seminar tomorrow, a presentation, or a meeting. You are talking to a new person tomorrow. You have a conference on Skype tomorrow. You want to build a structure in another town. You want to build a structure in another country. You should be able to imagine all those things. And you should clearly know what you're going to do, what you're going to say, how you'll carry yourself, how you'll gesticulate. You should imagine all that. That is our business. To be representative of our company to help people. This is our business. And you should be able to imagine that. And another thing that is very important, you should have a clear-cut picture of what you want to do and how you want to do it. That's what I mean when I say develop your imagination. And by doing so, you'll inevitably start improving yourself. By doing so, you'll inevitably start taking correct actions and steps. So work with your head, imagine everything you are going to do in our business. Take responsibility. This is rule 6, an absolutely clear-cut rule, extremely important for our business. But for many people, it's exactly something that becomes an insurmountable obstacle. In short, you're responsible for the success in our business, and the responsibility for the failure in our business is also yours and no one else's. Many people say responsibility rests with the sponsor because he hasn't given me information. Dear viewers, there's a lot of information in the Vivasan company. There's newsletters, there's information materials, books, workshops, training sessions, classes, at warehouses, at branches, everywhere. You have a lot of chances to learn and to get information. And now you are getting a set of videos on top of that. There is no excuse to explain the failure by a lack of information. And the majority of those who do not take responsibility just have not yet understood one thing. If you think it makes sense to work with Vivasan, or you want to build your future with the Vivasan company, I will be very glad if you think so. In this case, you should understand that you work among entrepreneurs, and the entrepreneur would never shirk his responsibility. Never. The entrepreneur knows it's me who is responsible for both my success and my failure. Rule 7. Know your why. It's a very important point. Why you should make presentations, why you should do training, why you should talk to people, why you should start learning more about the products, why you should learn to understand the principles of the Vivasan business and speak about them at presentations. Why? Within our system, there are different stages, and you're still to hear about that. That you will have to go through to make it to the very top. And this takes time. You can't do it overnight. This path takes quite some time. And all those stages are interrelated and make up a system. We will have a further look at those things. Having understood the system, you'll get all the answers to all the why questions I've just mentioned. Most people experience big problems if they don't understand why they have to do certain things. And they have no understanding because they don't see what is behind those things. But if you know why you're doing something and what result it will bring about, then you will inevitably get quite a different approach to our business. For all the newbies, don't worry, you're still to learn about all the whys. Focus on the activities that give you results. Let's have a small experiment. I'll ask you a question. How many hours per week would you be ready to spend on the Vivasan business if you want to make, say, 100,000 francs per year? 100,000 francs per year. How many hours you would spend on business? Let's suppose you'd say 50 hours per week, because 100,000 is a lot, isn't it? You work 50 hours a week. Let's say that 4 weeks is your vacation, which leaves us with 24,000 hours. 100,000 francs over 24,000 hours is about 42 francs. Hence, the next question arises, does everything I do in Vivasan generate a 42 francs per hour revenue for me? You see the approach? That's how you should see your movement to the goal. And this means finding new leaders, helping them develop. This gives you the turnover to register new distributors, to register new clients. It also generates the turnover to do trainings together with your team to formulate goals and monitor how they are being reached, and to determine your actions, what has to be done to reach your goals. That brings you the turnover. Those are the things you should focus on, and all the rest you should delegate, because it brings you no turnover. This issue should be clear for everybody. Rule 9. Work on your emotions. It's clear that people have both positive and negative emotions. They have them every day. And now you should ask yourself the following questions. Do I have more positive emotions, or I suffer from a multitude of negative ones? What is my emotional state every day? Since it's very important in our business, as you work with people, you can't talk to people showing them negative emotions, which means you should be able to control your emotions. Where do the negative emotions come from? They may be caused by external factors. There are misfortunes out there. Something may happen that would cause negative emotions. For example, a pandemic. The 2020 coronavirus pandemic causes negative emotions. That is clear. However, most people suffer from negative emotions they cause themselves. What do I mean here? Look, the lack of self-confidence, of confidence in your own abilities, always causes a lot of negative emotions. Some people don't even know why they carry themselves on in such an unfriendly way, why they use such rude words or speak so disrespectfully to people around them. In 90% of cases, the reason behind that is the lack of self-confidence or confidence in your own abilities. There are people who are always uncertain about themselves, who always doubt themselves, who lack self-confidence. And there are other people for whom everything is clear. Despite the fact that they are no smarter or no more than others, that doesn't matter at all. For them, everything is clear. They take on any job without any big doubts and ponderings, thinking like that, I'll cope. Haven't I coped with everything up to now? And other things like that. If you set the same task for a man with a lot of self-confidence and a man who doubts about himself, the self-confident man will always be the winner. But how to control it, how to get rid of it? Very simple. There are 3 questions you should answer. Question 1. If in a certain case you are not confident in yourself, you should ask the following question. Where does this lack of confidence inside me comes from? Usually the problem is that I want something, I want to achieve something, to do something, to take some action that would bring me results, but I don't have enough skills or too little self-confidence. Hence, you have programmed yourself to have this lack of confidence and self-doubts, so the result is also programmed in advance. No skills, no knowledge, little information, and the actions always lead to a disaster. Another question, if I have understood what I don't know how to do, or rather don't yet know how to do what I don't know, what other information is necessary for me, the question now is, how can I get it? Where can I get it from? So put together a list of sources to get this information from, and how to master those skills. What has to be done to achieve it? And the third important question, who's going to help me with this? It never happens in our business that a new Vivasan representative comes to the company at the invitation of his sponsor, and then he's sitting alone in the middle of a desert without a clue who can help him. Such things are rare. Certainly not every sponsor is ideal, and not every leader is ideal, but there is a structure above you, and you'll certainly get help from the members of this structure. And rule 10, always find a reason to continue. There are a lot of reasons to come to a stop, but there are no fewer reasons to carry on. Here I would like to wrap up this topic with a phrase from my father. It is important to rise one more time than you fall. And this is very important, ladies and gentlemen. Don't come to a stop. If you've decided to do something, you must carry on. You will get more and more new chances, and if you have a problem today, tomorrow you will solve it and a new door opens before you. You always have a chance to carry on and take more actions. Here I would like to wrap up this video. Stay well, and I'll be happy if you watch the next video about how to build a sales structure. Thank you.